Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joy, and I'm here to talk to you regarding the referendum and initiative process that we do see represented in Arizona's Constitution. So, the first thing that we're going to do as we dive in is just go ahead and define what referendum and initiative is. So, when we think in terms of what an initiative actually allows the citizens to take part and a direct part, an active part in democracy and the process as a whole. So, of course, it starts with the voters. What initially happens is it allows the citizens to make the laws directly without the legislature or the governor involved. Basically, what happens is people gather signatures on petitions to get proposals put in place and put them on the election ballot. So there are two types of initiatives. We've got the constitutional initiative, and then we have the legislative initiative. Now, the constitutional one allows citizens to propose and approve changes to the state constitution, while the legislative initiative allows citizens to propose and approve changes to the actual laws in themselves. All right. Now, when we think about the referendum process, right, it allows citizens to review and vote on a new law or constitutional amendment after the state legislature has passed it. So it refers to that amendment that the state constitution is already essentially approved, which that is an automatic process. Now, when we think about how they were created initially, I know appropriately the best example that I could give is with the first initiative that came out of California in 1911. And initially what it is that it was officially voted on and added to the part of the Constitution, which allowed a concept for voters to be involved in that process and to adapt to it. To remove any representatives that did not meet the standards of putting forth that democracy that is for the people and by the people. All right. And so basically 22 out of the 50 states did allow this type of system to be built for ballots and voting. Now, when we compare and we can contrast the initiatives to the referendums as far as their use, we find that initiatives actually make sure that legislators are more likely to introduce new reforms, and it also forces legislation to create new reforms. Now, on the con side of that, though, there's a lot of redrafts that are common that would have to take place. So there's a longer, strong out process, and then also there is controversy pertaining to the power of the people and how sustainable that model is. Of course, some people see it unbeneficial to minority groups that may lose their voice in the balance. Now, when we think about referendum, we can think about the fact that as a pro that passively they do interact with national publics, okay? And then most important, it's a permanent and a broad long-term controversial issue with the government's support. So when we think about the cons, though, it may create a false belief of more status and votes, and people may do unfortunately underhanded things to assume certain roles and positions. And then also there's heavy political division, which can create a change in many decisions that are being made. Now, when we think about initiatives and referendums and the idea of direct democracy, basically what we think about is that direct democracy pretty much would allow citizens to come in, but it does require a lot more time and effort. And not all citizens are knowledgeable about voting rights, democracy, and how it all works end to end. So that may not necessarily be beneficial to upholding and putting into place the right reforms that are necessary. So pretty much what happens is referendums in the state of Arizona for the Constitution is more common than we find initiatives because they are not pretty much frequently used. Now, with both systems being active, there is a direct democracy and a slow process, as I stated previously, but it is also known that these simple approaches to complex problems can help alleviate the difficulties for making certain changes. Now, while both of these have advantages and disadvantages, what we want to understand is that it's an ongoing part of the democratic process. And basically what it is to hold the power of the Constitution in the hands of the people. We need to understand the why, the when, and the how. And as the Constitution can be amended, there are forms of voting that basically provides a base plate or a baseline for how these changes occur over an extended period of time. So essentially, utilizing both of these processes are all about making sure that citizens can still be heard, that democracy is enacted, and that freedoms and liberties are also maintained. Thank you.